Greetings, everybody. It's Bishop Irvin, the host of the Power Podcast Radio Talk Show. I am so glad that you guys took an opportunity to stop by and just to check out our quick video here. The Power Podcast Radio Talk Show is a show that has evolved over the years. Originally, I had a radio talk show overseas called the Afterglow Show. The concept was after service, myself and maybe a couple of the leaders from the ministry would go to the radio and we would talk about service, things that happen in service, the message from service, revelation from service, and those different things. And it was a blessing because being in a foreign country, Okinawa, Japan, we had a privilege to be able to speak the same thing that was being taught to the body of Christ. We were able to take that same word and give it to the Okinawan locals. So that was a privilege. And, I really felt impressed upon my spirit at the time, hey, it's time to do the show again. So the Podcast Radio Talk Show was originally the Afterglow Show, which evolved into what is now known as the Power Podcast. Being in ministry, I was in ministry overseas, and as a senior pastor of a ministry that my wife and I planted, we transitioned back to the U.S. I received orders to recruiting duty, still desiring to continue to do ministry in whatever shape, form, or fashion. Of course, anybody who knows what recruiting duty is all about, you're very busy. So with that, got an opportunity to get involved doing the radio talk show. Again, it was such a blessing. One, it was a blessing because those who were a part of the ministry overseas got a chance to hear me teach the word. Those that had never heard me teach the word got a chance to hear me teach the word. It was a great time. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to close the show out, and we were not able to continue from 2010 to 2011, so on and so forth. Now we're at the point where it's the passion has been put in my heart again to do the show again. This time we want to do it better. This time we want to do it bigger. We want to take our ability to do the show to the next level, not only through being able to secure one entire year, to not have the disruption of month to month trying to do the show. We also want to do a better quality of the show. We don't want there to be interference with microphones. We don't want to be dealing with computers not working and things like that nature. So we want to take our quality up to the next level by utilizing the right equipment. This time we want to be able to expand the influence of the show. 50 states and beyond. That is the thought process behind the Power Podcast Radio Talk Show. We want to take it to 50 states and beyond. So 50 plus states and beyond. All 50 states, Hawaii, Canada, and Japan, the UK. We want the show to go everywhere. With that, we're raising up a nation. So the Power Podcast Nation is a nation that is going to be very, very key. So the importance of the state representatives or the state representation. See, what the state representation is going to do is serve as a conduit of information to be able to get the information back to us as to what are things going on in that state. Crime rate, drugs, alcohol, suicides, whatever the case may be. What this does is now we become a prayer center to where united. We got prayer warriors all over the world. We got prayer warriors here within our fellowship. We got prayer warriors everywhere. We know people who pray. So with that, knowing people who pray puts us in a better position to be able to get them the pertinent information. One of the things that I did love about being in Arkansas on recruiting duty at the time is I had a thumb on the very pulse of the state. I knew things that were happening. I knew things that were going on. And for my wife, who had a very, very sensitive job, she had her thumb on the pulse of things. So we could pray for things that people just had no insight for. So just imagine the Power Podcast Nation being a nation of people who are on the wall, who are able to not only pray, but also to be able to declare the things of God over our states, these states, and to be able to lift up, these delegates, the heads of state, the senators, the governors, the politicians, and the chief of police, the fire chief, and all these people, teachers, principals, so on and so forth. So it's a very, very unique tool that can really help us out in that cause. So that the podcast radio talk show, is already really stirring up a buzz. 200 plus likes, fans, and things of that nature, and people who are already excited about what we're doing. So how could you help? How could you help? Well, there's plenty of ways. Honestly, praying for us. We need your prayers. It's that we do things not only in the spirit of excellence, but we realize also and count up the cost of what it is to speak into the lives of people. We also not only need your prayers, but we solicit your financial support. This cannot be done alone. We cannot do it alone. And I have faith in the body of Christ. I have faith in the kingdom. Doing things in the best way requires that mighty dollar. So what we're asking is that you can find it in your heart to be able to donate at least $1. If you could donate $1 to the cause, it will help us to be able to further what we're doing. You may be sitting there saying, come on, Bishop, $1. Well, hey, if you could do 5, if you could do 10, 15, or $20, that would definitely help us. We're not saying that, hey, this got to be put on one person to give us $1,000. But if you got $1,000, believe me, we can use $1,000. So click the link, touch bases with us, or email me. Most of you have my phone number. Text me, whatever. Find out how is it you could help us to be able to do this. $1. Just consider sowing $1. And I guarantee you, it will go to a great and worthy cause. God bless you. Thank you guys so much. And keep us in your prayers.